After a PCC task force studied the application of punctuation in the MARC framework and wrote up a report, it is recommended removing punctuation from descriptive records. As I mentioned earlier, you can read more details about it in the readings for this module. You may start to see records in library catalogs that don't have the punctuation you expect from having seen them in records created for decades. For the time being, it will be up to local organizations to decide what they do with the data they get. They may add punctuation in local systems. They may program their systems to display punctuation even if it's not there. They may just accept it as is. Accessible display be damned. Instead, they recommend relying on software developers or vendors to program library systems to display information with appropriate punctuation based on where the data is stored within a framework like MARC or XML. For some context, listen to this full description without punctuation as read by the screen reader JAWS.
Reading. Z504. Title proper parallel title other title information subsequent title by same author first statement of responsibility for title proper subsequent statement of responsibility for title proper subsequent title by different author statement of responsibility for subsequent title subsequent statement of responsibility for subsequent title edition statement parallel edition statement of responsibility related to edition place of publication subsequent place name of publisher date of publication extent other physical details dimensions accompanying material statement title.
The result of practicing traditional library cataloging without guidelines and expectations for punctuation for many libraries will look like this. Looking at the real-life example again, it could potentially display this way in the future. Here's what it sounds like as read by the screen reader JAWS.
Reading. Z5. Michelle Hahn Mercedes Hahn Z504 Professor Randy Hahn Mary K. Hahn Indiana University School of Library and Information Science 2nd edition 2 En Hang Felonious Driver Willoughby Ohio Bloomington Indiana Miraculous Recovery 1981 1 Skeleton Various Organs 5 feet 1 in. Clothes 3 MS Confuses Dad Mary K. Hahn.
The idea is that if we input this information this way without the grammatical punctuation, the system it goes into will be programmed to display it like this to the user. But we're not there yet. And as I mentioned a couple of slides ago, not every library has the ability to display bibliographic record content this way. It requires programming skills and access to the software program, which is usually proprietary, you can't just change it, or the money to pay for the software vendor to do it for you. Let's think about this for a minute. What is the benefit of removing punctuation from the input? It facilitates easier data manipulation by computers. Systems can be programmed to add punctuation in certain places. But what are the disadvantages? The lack of punctuation makes the display of data inaccessible for many users, and the cost of rectifying that leads to the exclusion of lower-income populations. I took part in a discussion about this in the Troublesome Catalogers and Magical Metadata Fairies Facebook group. The details of that discussion are included in the PDF version of these slides. In Canvas, open the ISBD punctuation from the Handouts and Tutorials page for this week. Also, open the link to the Library of Congress MARC bibliographic format and OCLC bibliographic formats and standards. Work through adding punctuation to the titles in Assignment 1 or to some of our practice books, and you will get your feet wet comparing ISBD with MARC conventions and the OCLC translation of those conventions. In the next module, we will start to see how all of the data fits into. We'll start putting our punctuated data into our framework, MARC. We'll talk about who or what it is, how it works, and what we do with it. And we'll talk about the Borg Collective.